What do penguins, giraffes, dolphins, and monkeys have in common? They all share a fascinating behavior. They all have mating or bonding behavior with animals of the same gender. Recently, more and more countries have been legalizing gay marriage and same-sex relationships more generally. A common criticism against this is that it is not natural to be gay. But is this actually true? Today, we will be looking at the animal kingdom to see if there are animals that are born gay and what we can learn from that.
Some questions are uncomfortable. But in our modern world that is more and more connected, it is important to address these very questions to further our common understanding and to fight misconceptions and prejudices. Welcome to Questions Too Afraid to Ask. In this show, we will cover questions you have all been wondering about, but so far have not had the courage to ask.
The question we are going to answer today is if animals can be gay. First of all, we will be focusing on mammal species in this video. Some reports have, however, shown that there are certain animal groups, like birds and insects, that engage in same-sex sexual encounters. But this seems to be more prevalent in mammal species. Which also means that, yes, same-sex sexual behavior is prevalent in mammals, and can therefore be considered natural. Some examples of species in which same-sex behavior has been observed are among female bonobos and among female Japanese macaques. As you can notice, these are both primate species and are therefore close to humans. But they are not the only mammals that show same-sex affection. For example, also male bottlenose dolphins have been observed to partake in same-sex lovemaking, and so have the mighty bulls of American bisons. Currently, it is speculated that about 5% of all mammal species partake in same-sex behavior. It is, however, important to mention that this number might be even higher. The reason for this is that same-sex copulation has only recently been getting the scientific attention this topic deserves. There are therefore still many unanswered questions, and data on many species is simply missing. Furthermore, it is interesting to note that there are not that many differences between the two sexes. Although male same-sex sexual behavior is slightly more common, found in almost 200 species, than female same-sex behavior, found in about 163 species. But for most species, both sexes engage in same-sex mating. What is more, the geographic location of these animals does not seem to play a role, meaning that there are very much gay underwater animals, as well as gay species that live in the jungle or in the desert. Now that we have shown that there are indeed certain animal species that engage in sexual activities with the same sex, one could ask themselves, why do these mammals do that? Why do they use their precious amount of energy and time and have the chance of getting sexually transmitted diseases when there is no possibility of producing offspring? There are currently two main hypotheses to explain this phenomenon. The first hypothesis states that same-sex mating is done in order to better the relationships of the animals in their groups. It is therefore done, according to this hypothesis, to bring harmony to the group, especially after conflicts. This hypothesis therefore imagines same-sex mating as a very social activity, which therefore should mainly be found in very social animal species. The second hypothesis states that same-sex sexual interactions help to establish dominance and to develop the social hierarchies, especially among males. It also sees it as a mechanism for the subordinate males to calm tensions after they try to woo the mate of a dominant male. This hypothesis therefore assumes that these kinds of same-sex activities only occur in species that are very aggressive, and only among the male members of these species. These hypotheses have recently been investigated by a paper, and seem to confirm these hypotheses. It, for instance, found that more social species exhibit same-sex sexual behavior than non-social ones. Furthermore, it confirmed the hypothesis that non-social aggressive species were much more likely to engage in same-sex mating than social aggressive species. These two factors therefore seem to make it more likely that a species engage in same-sex acts. Another interesting tidbit is that this behavior seems to be somewhat recent, and many species, that engage in this behavior are some of the Earth's younger ones. It is now time for an important caveat in this discussion. The things we have been looking at so far is same-sex sexual behavior, but this is different from the homosexuality found in humans. In these animals, it is often only a temporary behavior in comparison to the sexual preference that is found in humans. Many animals would therefore be considered bisexual in human terms, as they are willing to mate with both sexes. So that means that animals cannot be gay, and should therefore be considered bisexual, right? Well, almost. Because you see, one species contradicts this trend, and that is the domesticated sheep. Just like the other species discussed here, they too engage in same-sex sexual behavior, but some male sheep, rams, refuse to have sex with females and instead prefer the mating with other rams. It can therefore be said that rams are the gayest of all the animals. But much research remains to be done, as we already mentioned, and there may be other animals that have a specific long-term preference about the sex of their partner. What then can be learned from this, and what aspects can be transferred to our human societies? Honestly, not much. Humans live in such different conditions than all other animals that a comparison between the two becomes almost impossible. We humans live in large houses, use cars, and connect over the internet. One could therefore say that we have evolved past the natural and made inventions to make up our own rules. It is furthermore difficult to compare human and animals because of the long-term sexual preference of humans, while it seems to be more short-term in animals. It is also important to consider that we simply have not enough research on this topic yet in order to make apt comparisons and make hasty decisions based on incomplete data. In conclusion, yes, gay behavior in animals exists. This same-sex sexual behavior is mainly a social mechanism that is evolved in social animal groups to ensure harmony. It is therefore a mechanism to reduce the amount of violent conflict and solve them through sex to have the chance of living another day in aggressive species, and later on maybe having a chance of reproducing.
And that wraps up another question that has been answered. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you also have any uncomfortable questions you would like to ask us, let us know in the comments below, and it may become a topic in a future video. Stay curious and never stop asking questions. Want to learn more? The sources used for this video, along with additional information, can be found in the description.